With that assassination, we ended all hope for the immediate future of changing political will in America. But it was even worse than that, because in the 60s, something else started to happen. Barry Goldwater got defeated in 1964. I was working as the Southside Voter Registration Headquarters in Milwaukee, so I was rewarded by a barbecue. I was working for President Johnson, so I was awarded the reward for beating Goldwater was we got to go to a barbecue with Lucy Johnson in Madison, and that was okay, but we didn't know what was going to happen, and that was people who were for Goldwater were very upset and thought the liberal media were not being fair to them, and that there needed to be a new conservative movement. And they got together, people and foundations. And I'm talking about names like Bradley and Mellon and Scaife and Coors. Now, I never drink Coors beer. They said, let's finance a long-term movement that takes America to a more conservative place, and let's bankroll it. They observed that then in the 60s there were less than 10 conservative think tanks in Washington, D.C., and they thought something should be done about it. And so over the decades they invested, and now there are over 300 conservative think tanks in Washington, D.C. And they also created the likes of Fox television. And they also created the likes of talk radio and Rush Limbaugh, who during the campaign called the president that little black man-child. They did a lot of other things, but they certainly prepared America for 1980. They provided the setting, the intellectual setting, the political setting for the victory of Ronald Reagan. That's a reality. That's what happened. Instead of the new will that could have been possible that the Kerner Commission talked about, we got America being taken to a conservative place that allowed the likes of the policies of the 1980s and the policies of this new millennium to take place. And the issue, therefore, now is to how to take America to a much better place. The Obama people are, of course, savvy, and I'm on their 10 million member email list. I assume most of you are. And David Plouffe writes, he sends me something every other day. And it was certainly a campaign strategy. But it's, as you know, it's now beyond the campaign, and it's let's get the stimulus package passed, and then let's get on with the movement. And that's brilliant. And we have to work with them, because that's the source of the long-run movement that's got to take America to a different place, and a movement that has to neutralize the conservative movement. And remember, the conservative movement is still there. I mean, they're sort of having a few fights among themselves. But you read and you see what they're saying. They still believe in voodoo economics. They still believe in trickle down. They still believe in deregulation. It's all there. They're going to take a few months or a few years off, go to the Bahamas, have a rest, reorganize, and they're going to be coming back. And so, we got to be smarter, and we have to have our own long-run movement that starts now with the crisis, but then moves on to the long-run Obama vision and to the long-run vision of the Kerner Commission. We in the private nonprofit sector, I suggest to you, need to work as partners with the Obama administration. They initiate a lot, but we should initiate a lot on our own in terms of creating a new movement. In our update of the Kerner Commission, we call for a fair economic deal. That's the name that we give to the movement. You can give it whatever name you want. There are a lot of nonprofits talking about what to do. And the fair economic deal, as we see it, has to begin with policy for the middle class, the working class, and the poor, as I articulated for employment and education that not only helps them people, but serves to pull them together as a long-term voting coalition. So it's both a substantive strategy and a political strategy that has to be the point of origin of a fair economic deal. But we have to pay attention to the words and to the narrative, because the conservatives have their own narrative. It's the Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Ronald Reagan narrative. We have to have our own narrative that weaves the priorities of the Kerner Commission, the vision of President Obama, with the positions and the policies of especially four American presidents: Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, and John Kennedy. Abraham Lincoln had a pretty good policy on racial justice. But he also invested in the federal land grant system and colleges, and he invested in public infrastructure. And that's a good model to build on. Teddy Roosevelt said, okay, I'm speaking softly, sometimes not so softly, and carrying a big stick against who? Against Wall Street, against the greed of Wall Street. It was there, it was over 100 years ago, but he was saying the same thing that a lot of folks are saying today, and we need that spirit of Teddy Roosevelt to say that what Wall Street thinks is important is not what Main Street necessarily thinks is important. We need Franklin Roosevelt's sense of a social contract, and we need to remember that he employed Keynesian policy to create an economic stimulus. He didn't continue the stimulus long enough, and then the war had to take over to provide the ultimate stimulus. But he had the Keynesian economic policy that we need today. And of course, John F. Kennedy asked what we could do for our country and talked about how we are all in this together. And so those presidents and their ideas need to be discussed and woven into books and presentations and policy reports and the whole fabric of the discussion that, of course, gets picked up immediately and distorted by the media. We have to work on that narrative, on that story, and make it an American story, a story for all our citizens, not just the truly disadvantaged. And to help do that, we need a new generation of think tanks. We need to follow, for example, Demos and the New American Foundation, which are doing very good work. And I think your work, Policy Bridge, is going in the direction of new think tanks. But we need to have the intellectual basis for a long-term movement. And many of our existing think tanks, I think, are moribund, are not on the cutting edge, and we really have to reassess what a think tank does. Eisenhower Foundation is an example of a hybrid think tank. We do policy reports, but we also fund inner-city community groups to do the kinds of programs I'm talking about, and we evaluate. And so when we write a report on policy, we know of what we speak because we're running programs and we're evaluating programs. And I think too many think tanks are too pie-in-the-sky academic. And so there really needs to be a reassessment as part of a new movement about the new generation of think tanks that are necessary for America. Simultaneously, we need to follow the model of Wellstone Action, the organization begun by followers of the great Senator Paul Wellstone. And Wellstone Action is a national organization that identifies and trains local political candidates and gives them the know-how to be successful in running for office, but also trains nonprofit organization leaders in how to organize in between elections so that we don't have to re-gear up again every 2 or 4 years, so that we have a permanent infrastructure politically, just like we should have a permanent intellectual infrastructure that is there and ready, because the conservatives certainly do.